Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. And in this video, we're going to be assembling the Aventon Pace 350. And before we get started with the assembly, we're going to go ahead and get the battery off of the frame and we're going to put it on the charger. I believe it comes about 25% charged. And according to the manual, I believe this is a 12 amp hour battery. So here it says that a 12 amp hour battery takes about 7.2 hours to charge. But if it's already charged about 25%, then it should take less than that, obviously. So we're going to show you how to take off your battery and then put it on the charger. So in order to take it off, here it says turn this way to open. You're going to need your keys, of course. Put your key in. And then you hit open. And you're going to pull on this lever to take it off. So let's go ahead and do that. And it's actually a little bit difficult, guys. You got to pull up in order to disconnect it. But here we go. Here's the battery. We're going to go ahead and get the charger and charge it. Okay, guys, so when you get the charger, it comes like this. This piece and this piece. All you got to do is plug this end into here. And then you got to plug, after you do that, you plug this into the battery right here. And then you go ahead and plug this into the wall after you got all that done. So let's go ahead and connect this to here, and then that one to the battery. And then afterwards, we'll connect it to the wall outlet. Let's go ahead and do that. And that's it, guys. It should be charging. There we go. You see the red light come on. And now let's look over here. And it's charging. So it looks like it was about 25 to 50% charged, because only the two higher lights are turning on. So it should be done probably in about half the time. It was 7 hours, so it should be done in half that, so probably like 3.5 hours. Okay, guys, we're gonna leave it there, let it charge, and we're gonna go back to the assembly of the bike. Okay, guys, so let's get started with the assembly of the bike. In order to assemble, we're gonna go ahead and get started here on the back. We're gonna take this off here. This is part of the packaging material, so we don't need that. And then we're gonna start by assembling, by putting on the back tire first. This here also is part of the packaging material, so we got to take that black, this black thing off here. And then it says to go ahead and back up these bolts here, these nuts. And then it says that the key, this thing here, should be on the inside, but it should actually be facing down. So we're going to go ahead and turn it down like so. We're going to go ahead and back out this nut here. And this key should also be facing down. I'm not sure if the one on the other side is actually, if they actually put it in backwards from the factory. So I'm going to have to double check on that and see if we do the install correctly. So let's go ahead and try it first. So we're going to go ahead and put the tire there. And it does look like they put this washer here in backwards. So I'm going to go ahead and take this nut off. Take this washer off. And then I'm going to take this washer off here. And I'm going to actually flip it. That should be on the inside. We can go ahead and put this washer back. And this nut back. And that's the way it should be. This should be facing down as we install. And it should be on the inside of the frame. Okay guys, now that we got that figured out, this washer here looks like the key is, or the washer is correctly placed. So we're gonna go ahead and leave that one like that. And then the instructions tell us to go ahead and lift up the back of the bike and put the back tire on. So that is going to go in there. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay, here we go. So we lift up the back of the bike and then set it into place. This is a little bit difficult for some reason. Okay. Okay, so then the disc also has to be inserted into this needs to be inserted into the disc brake. So we're gonna go ahead and see if we can seat it properly. And it looks like something is holding it from seating on this side. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. Looks like just the frame is a little bit tight. Go ahead and open it up a little bit, push down. Maybe just has to do with the alignment of the back tire. There we go. So this is the side that's having trouble going in. There we go. Looks like we got it in. Now we're just gonna go ahead and tighten here. Okay guys, so we actually forgot one step. We forgot to put the chain onto this first gear. So it's good that I didn't tighten these down. So we're gonna go ahead and untighten them again. I just tightened them by hand. So we're gonna go ahead and untighten them. And we're gonna go ahead and put the chain onto the star here, or the gear here in front, just to get an idea of how it's gonna fit. We'll put it on there. And it appears that we're gonna go ahead and put the top of the chain into the gear, not the bottom. So we'll do that first. We're gonna take this tire off and then put that chain on there. We're gonna go ahead and put the wheel on now that we have the chain on the first gear. Here we go. This is the tough part, guys. For some reason, it's always this left side that has a little bit of trouble going in. Let me go ahead and just pull a little bit. A little bit of trouble getting this side for some reason. Did not think I would have that much trouble getting this in here, but we are. There we go. Let's see if we can just turn the wheel a little bit, get in there. It's probably gonna be one of the harder parts of the build for some odd reason. It's having a little bit of an issue going in there. Let me see if we can use this to try. Okay, let's line it up properly. Hopefully that lined it up a little bit better. There we go. Get the brakes in properly. That looks like it's just a little bit tight. The frame's just a little bit tight. There we go. There we go. Let's go ahead and put that washer back on and that nut back on. It looks like we got the tires on there, back tire on there securely. Took a little bit of muscling in, but we finally got it. There we go. Okay guys, this back tire took a little bit more time and energy than I thought it would take. The angle just has to be perfect. Everything just has to align properly. This has it's cut here on the edges, so it needs to key in perfectly. These washers have to fit in perfectly, and then the brakes here also have to fit in perfectly onto the disc. And actually that disc appears to be bending out a little bit. We might have to adjust that brake caliper if it has some adjusting. And then this has to fit in perfectly as well. It looks like the tire is aligned. Hopefully the frame is perfect too. Hopefully we don't have any rubbing on that brake is what it looks like. But we'll have to wait and see. So let's go ahead and put the rest of it together. We're gonna go ahead and tighten these bolts down, and these I believe are gonna be tightened with the 18mm side. Doesn't look like the 15 will fit. Nope. So it's gonna be with this 18mm. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten those down. Doesn't look like this 15 will fit either. So it's going to be 18. We're going to use the 18. We'll tighten those down, and then we'll move on to the next part. Tighten down the left side, and it's going to be tightening this way, which is clockwise. Just try not to get too close to the frame, guys, so that you don't scrape it, scratch it, anything like that. Make sure it doesn't slip. Just torque it down. Good enough. Let's see. Here. Torque it down. I think that's torqued down well enough. Okay, let's move on to the right side. Let's go ahead and torque down this right side here. This one's also going to be clockwise. Looks like we have a little bit of dust or oil. Just make sure that frame is down there. On there tight. Before you tighten down. I think that's tight enough. Okay. So we're done with that part. The only thing that worries me a little bit is that disc brake. It looks like it's a little bit bent. So we'll see what we can do right now after we finish the rest of the bike, see if it turns freely. If not, we'll try to do some adjusting on that. Okay guys, so we finally got this disc brake thing figured out. So basically these here are your adjuster screws. This one here at the bottom and this one here at the top. And if you can see in there, it's got a little bit of an adjustment that you can do. You see that open space right there? That allows you to push this brake caliper in or out according to, so that you can align it with the disc. So that's what I did. I loosened the screw, and then you can go ahead and adjust this brake caliper to how you need it aligned for the disc. And then back here you have your inside brake pad adjustment. As it wears down, you can tighten this right here. You can tighten this this silver with a hex key to get a little bit tighter braking. Or if you feel it like it's too tight, you can go ahead and loosen it. So yeah, a little bit of it takes a little bit of investigation to try to figure this out. But it's nothing difficult that you can't do yourself. So yes guys, let's go ahead and get continue with the assembly of the bike, and yeah, stay tuned. Okay guys, so the next thing that the instructions tell us to do, we already put the back wheel on. Now we have to put this front fork of the bike in here. And that's if we don't have a stand for a bike, and which I don't. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me set you guys up right here. So all we're going to do is we're going to grab the handle here, make sure that this doesn't fall. We're going to pick this up and put it in here. And that's just so that the bike won't fall over. Right? So we'll put that there for now. And then it tells us to get our 5mm hex screw, which is the second one, the second largest hex screw. So we're going to go ahead and get this one, and we're going to be working with this one. We're going to take off this little rubber thing from the top. And we're going to just put it here on the table. And then it tells us to loosen this hex screw. So we're going to loosen it all the way. And we have to take off this white thing here. Loosen it, loosen it. It's just to protect it while it's being shipped. We take this one off, and we're not going to need this anymore because we're going to go ahead and put on the handlebars. We'll set this down right here on the table while we put the handlebars in, and you're going to want to put them like so. Okay, move. You want to turn them around like so, so that you have your brakes here, your numbers, controls, and you might have to turn the screen around a little bit. Set this in here. Okay, that's not going in. So we're going to go ahead and loosen these hex screws. And I believe that's going to be with the 4mm hex key. We loosen those. We're going to hold this in place here. Put that back in place. And let's see if we can fit this in here. There we go, it slides in. Then we're going to put our cap on. This is going to give you basically how tight your steering is going to be. You don't want it too tight, you don't want it too loose. If it's too loose, you're going to have your handlebars move a little bit, forward and back. If it's too tight, you're going to have a little bit of trouble turning it. So we're just going to put it on here, just mock it up, and it says to just basically just hand tighten it just so that the bottom fork doesn't fall off the bottom. If you don't tighten this, the bottom fork will fall off. It says to just tighten, basically hand tighten, and then we'll get back to aligning it and tightening it at the end of the process. Let's just tighten this up here. Like so. And we'll leave it. And then we'll move on to the next step. Okay guys, so the next thing that we need to do is we need to go ahead and put in the seat. So we're going to go ahead and take this off here. This is part of the packaging. You're going to grab your seat and you're going to grab your grease. And I'm going to get some scissors so I can cut a little piece off of here and then apply it. We're going to apply it to the inside here and then also to the seat, and then we'll go ahead and put it on there. Okay guys, so we're going to go ahead and cut this here. I'm going to go ahead and do this and figure out where the tip of this corner is. We're just going to cut a small piece here. I don't want to make too much of a mess. Cut that there. And we're going to see if we get some grease out of there. Yeah, just a little bit. And also have some paper towels ready so that you can go ahead and clean it off. So we're going to go ahead and get some on your finger here. Some of this grease. Put it in here. Like so. This is just so that the seat can, or the seat post can slide in and not be scratched that much. Okay. I want to get a good coating of grease on the inside of there. And then it also says to get your seat post and go ahead and put some grease on there as well. We're gonna go ahead and do that. Some grease on there as well. And that's just to prevent, I believe it's just to prevent scratching on the post, because then you'd get a lot of scratching, and it's going to take this nice black color off of the seat post, and it just won't be aesthetically pleasing. Just go ahead and put that on there. That's it. I'm gonna go ahead and grab one of my paper towels, clean my hands off. Then it says to go ahead and pull this lever here, like so, and then slide your seat post in, and that's gonna prevent a little bit of scratching in the future. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this all the way in, like so, because the person who's gonna be riding will more than likely prefer the seat to be all the way in. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten this up a little bit, just so that the seat won't move around. There we go. And you see how it still moves a little bit. Might need to be a little bit tighter, just because of that grease there. Let's see if that'll work. Looks like it's gonna stay still. So the seat is on, and now let's go on to the next step. Okay guys, so now it tells us to go ahead and get the front wheel ready and loosen these nuts here. This one's a little bit tight, so just hold it a little bit. So it says to loosen them. I imagine the washers are going to be on the inside. Maybe one, I'm thinking they're going to be probably on the outside, and the fork, the size, the separation of the fork will let you know. And actually this disc brake has to be on the left here. So we're going to go ahead and move it into position here, and then remove the bike from the box. And actually we have to get that black piece off of there, because that's also part of the packaging. So let me do that first. So let's go ahead and take that off here. Just push it down. On there pretty tight. There we go. So now we grab our bike, the front wheel into position. And let me see if I can do this handedly. And it looks like I might have to loosen those nuts a little bit more. So let me see if I can do that and hold the camera at the same time. To let's see, loosen this a little bit more. Put that washer on the outside. I believe the washers go on the outside, so let's go ahead and just remove these a little bit more. This one as well. Loosen that out a little bit more. Let's give it another try. Here we go. like we're in. Okay. So we're just gonna make sure that the fork is down all the way. It looks like these go on the outside, these washers. And for this, we're gonna need our wrench here, and I think it's gonna be a different size. So let's see. This one will be the 15 millimeter. So I'm gonna go ahead and tighten those down. Let me set you guys down here on the tripod. Okay, I went ahead and put the kickstand down. I still haven't tightened these, but let me go ahead and set you guys up, and then we'll tighten this one, which is the left side, if you're sitting on the bike, and then we'll tighten the right side if you're sitting on the bike. And obviously, before you put the front tire on, you want to listen to this warning here. You want this to face forward and this to be on the right side. If you were to flip this back like that, the fork would actually be facing this way, a little bit more straight, and it would be placed incorrectly. And the way that you know is that your disc brake is supposed to go on the left side, and this is also supposed to go on the left side, so that you can have your brakes installed, brake caliper. So I'm going to go ahead and unwrap the brake caliper here and then install it. Okay guys, so next we're going to go ahead and install this disc brake pad thing. I don't know what you call it. We're going to take off these two hex bolts, and then it looks like we have to swing it around this way instead. I'm not sure which way it's supposed to go. Let's see. Probably should be going this way. Okay. Let me double check that. Okay guys, so we made a little bit of a mistake. This wire is actually supposed to be over on this side, so that you can easily connect your brake caliper. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this here, and then switch this wire to this side. So stay tuned for that. Okay, so we're gonna get our 5mm, and we're gonna go ahead and loosen these up here really quick. Right tight, left loose. We're gonna go this way to loosen it. We're gonna get our, well, that was our 4mm. Now we're gonna get our 5mm hex key, or hex tool, whatever you call it. I don't know exactly the word. And we're gonna go ahead and remove the handlebars. I'm gonna actually put them on the wrong side. So we're gonna go ahead and take that off and bring it around the bottom here. Bring it back around like so. And so I'm doing this for you guys so that if you do buy one of these bikes and you are having trouble assembling it, you won't make the same mistakes I do. You see this little rubber thing here? I don't know if you can see it on there. That is so that this does not damage the paint. So that makes sense now in hindsight, but sometimes you gotta make mistakes to learn. So we're gonna go ahead and put this like so. Put this cap back on. Tighten it up. Get your 5mm. Tighten it up like so. Be careful with the screen, guys, please. That up. I'm tighten up these here. Just tighten there. And then just help you to kind of turn the wheel for now. It's not perfectly aligned, but we'll get back to that at the end of the assembly. Okay, now that we have taken care of that, we can go ahead and install our brake caliper here. We already removed the two bolts, the two hex bolts. You can see those two. So we're gonna go ahead and just slide this into position. Slide that onto the disc there. line up these holes here and just tighten it down. Okay, there we go. If we can get it aligned. Alright, I think we got it aligned here. So just hand tighten this one here, like so. Then align this one. See, is it aligned? There we go. And just hand tighten it. And then get our hex tool, which I believe is going to be the 4 millimeter. Oh, it's the 5. Okay. So let's go ahead and just tighten that down. Like so. You can feel it. You can really feel it once it tightens down. In this position, it's easier, it's quicker to tighten, like so. And then once you turn it like this, creates a little bit more torque for those of you that are not experienced with tools, and that helps you to really tighten it down. Okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and lift the front tire up and just check, make sure there's no rubbing. And there's a slight bit of rubbing on the disc brakes, and that's okay, but we can go ahead and adjust that so that there's absolutely no rubbing on there. That way that the disc brakes don't have unneeded wear. Okay guys, let's go on to the next step. Okay guys, so next we're gonna go ahead and install the derailleur here to the back. And you got to make sure that this tab here, this tab that you see here, rests right there on that notch. So let's go ahead and see how that works. All right, let's see how we can get that in place, like so. I'm gonna run the chain through like so, and then we're gonna go ahead and put this into place here. And this is a little bit tricky, and we're gonna be using our 5 millimeter hex tool. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. Move you guys over a little bit. You gotta make sure that this key right here fits into there. So let's go ahead and do that. So we'll just start it. There we go. And as you guys can see, that key is resting into that notch there. So we're just going to go ahead and turn our 5 millimeter tool the other way, and then tighten, really torque it down so that doesn't come off when you're riding. Alright, like so. Looks like that's tight enough. And the reason that this chain is all bunged up like that, or scrunched up like that, is because we haven't put it on the front star here, on the front gear. So we're gonna go ahead and do that right now so that that can look more of how it's supposed to look. so. And that looks a little bit better. Okay, and let's go on to our next step. Okay guys, for this next step, we're gonna go ahead and get this here. This bag here, this is our accessory bag. So let's go in here and we're gonna get this one here. It's got a hole right here and then a hole right here. So we're gonna go ahead and take this white piece off, like so. Now pull it off. And then you're gonna go ahead and feed it through here, like so. And this is gonna be covering your axle. So you just put it on like that and just push it over. Fit it into place. This is gonna go like so. There we go. That's just good to be aesthetically. It's more of an aesthetic thing than anything else. But it also protects the wire from these wires from getting frayed in case you drop your bike. Okay. And then let's go ahead and go into our accessory box again and pull out the other one. And this one will go on the other side. This one doesn't have a hole, as you can see, like that one did. It doesn't have a hole here. So let's go to the other side. And this one just fits on here. This axle cover just fits on like so. And that's it. It's nice that they include those. Not all bikes come with these. So it's a nice, very nice addition. And then next, we're gonna go ahead and connect this wire. This is one of the most important connections that you're gonna, that you're gonna do. And for this, you gotta make sure that you have the arrows pointing at each other. So you see the arrow there? You see the arrow there? So you're going to go ahead and connect in that manner. Here we go. And then push to connect. There we go. Has to go to that line there. There we go. And that's to connect your rear motor hub. Okay. And then let's go on to our next step. Oh, and for this axle cover, guys, it appears that this one, the hole goes facing down so that this can bend downward. Just a side note there. Yeah, I was having trouble fitting it in, but it's actually supposed to go down. So there we go. Let's go on to our next step. Okay guys, so we made another little mistake on our build here. We need to actually disconnect this and feed this behind the frame here and put that clip in place. Put this wire into that clip. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We're gonna take it off, put that clip on there, and then reconnect it. And this connection is really, really tight. So it's gonna take some muscle. Here we go. Okay, what's that? Oh, it looks like it was this clip here. Just gonna put that back. We're gonna feed this under here. We're gonna loosen that hex screw on this side. And it looks like it's a lot smaller. So probably a 2mm. Let's see. Nope, it's not a 2mm. It looks like it's gonna be a 3mm. I think I can do it through bottom here. Let's see. There we go. So we're going to go ahead and remove this screw here. Move it all the way out. Okay, and this is a stubborn little screw. Did not expect this screw to be that long. So we're going to go ahead and remove it all the way. Take off this little clip, or better yet, leave it on there. But we're going to go ahead and feed the wire through there. We'll open it up like so and feed the wire in. Oh, it came off. Okay, so let's just go ahead and put that wire on like so. And then we're going to reconnect that connection. And after we connect that, we'll slide this around and then put that hex bolt back on there. Of course, we got to remember, guys, we got to line up our arrows, make that connection, because if we don't line up these arrows, basically the computer's not going to send the signal to the motor to do what it needs to do. So let's go ahead and slide that into position and then put this hex screw back in place. It's a little bit, sounds a little bit easier than what it really is, because you got to do a lot of aligning here. But especially if you don't have a bike shop anywhere near you guys, hopefully this video helps you guys out so that you can build this bike on your own, or if you have any other electric bike that you're trying to build, hopefully that this video helps you to do so. Okay, so we're just tightening up this screw here. Let me see if I can focus on there. There we go. Takes a little bit of patience, guys, but patience pays off. You know what they say, all good or good things come to those who wait. In this aspect, that is true. Obviously, we have to wait to ride this bike until we get it put together. But we want to go ahead and make sure that we put it together correctly. That way we don't have any problems down the road. We don't break anything. And we make sure that we're safe. It's a big priority, guys. Make sure we're safe here. And this hex screw actually feels a little bit loose, so I'm just gonna go ahead and see if I can get this other one. That one was the 3mm. I'm gonna see if the 4 fits on there. If it does, then we were using the wrong one. It doesn't look like the 4 fits on there. This one doesn't need to be that tight because it's just holding a little wire. Still, you just want to have it snug. There we go. It looks about right, guys. If you need to slide it, you can slide it out a little bit. That way, just to get away from the wheel, make sure it doesn't rub on the wheel. It looks like it's gonna do a good job there. Alrighty, if you feel uncomfortable with it, you can maybe even put a little zip tie on here. One of those that you were able to salvage from the packaging. Okay, now let's go ahead and move on to our next step. Okay guys, the next step is to go ahead and put the pedals onto the crank arms. So we're gonna go ahead and take these out of here, like so. And then they're already labeled, so R is for right. So this one's gonna go on the right side, which means it's on the side of the chain, where we have the chain and the gears and everything. And then the left side is your left side as you're riding the bike. So that's gonna go where the disc brakes are. So let's go ahead and put a little bit of grease on here. This is what the instructions tell us to do. Put some grease, put them on there, and then tighten them down with our wrench here. And it looks like it's gonna be the 15mm wrench. Yep, and we'll use our 15mm. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's put some grease on there. Like so. This grease is probably just so that when you put them on there, they don't seize up. In case you ever need to replace them, they wear out, or the reflectors fall off or whatnot. You sometimes may have to replace your pedals, and if you don't grease them, it can become very, very, very difficult to remove if you don't put grease on these threads. So there we go. So you gotta make sure that you put this on correctly, guys. You don't want to just put them on. So here it's already telling us you can tighten this way. You want to make sure that you put these threads in correctly, because if you don't, you can actually damage this arm here. I believe it's aluminum, so it's a soft metal. It helps with the weight of the bike to make sure that it's not that heavy, but then it also makes it a little bit weaker with regards to these threads here. So you want to put the threads in wrong. You want to make sure that it's easy to turn. So here I'm threading it in. It's easy to turn all the way till you're about to tighten with your wrench. You want to be able to hand tighten this here with your hand up to there. That's already snug. And then you go ahead and grab your 15mm wrench, and then you give it a good tightening, like so. That's good. All right, and then we'll go on to the other side. So this one was like a regular screw. You go clockwise. So basically from here, you're going right. From the top of the screw, you're going right, righty-tighty. That's how most bolts tighten. Let's go on to the other. Okay, once again, guys, don't forget to put the grease on the threads. I'm gonna go ahead and grease this one up, like so. And this one actually has a little, I guess they didn't pop this off here. You can just get something to pop that off. A little sticker. There we go. And now we're gonna go ahead and hand tighten. And as you can tell, you can leave these stickers on just so you can be able to know how to tighten it, and then afterwards you can remove it, tear it off, or whatever. So this one can tighten counterclockwise. This is kind of an unusual bolt, or what's it called? It's a bit of an unusual thread. Not too many bolts tighten counterclockwise. So you want to be able to hand tighten this first before you use your wrench. You don't want to
start wrenching down and mess up your thread, because it can happen. Okay, looks like this one is going to go in all the way by hand. The majority of the way. Sometimes it gets a little bit harder as you get to the end of it, but you should be able to at least thread it in 50 to 75% of the way. Okay, now we get our 15mm wrench and then torque it down. Okay, and it turns freely very well. And that's it, your pedals are in place. So let's go on to the next step.
Okay guys, so we're almost done building the bike or assembling it. Now we're going to go ahead and align. As you can tell, this is not as aligned as it should be. That tire is straight and the gooseneck here is not. So we're going to go ahead and just turn it right there. So we just go ahead and loosen it from here. And here, the bottom one too. Loosen those two bolts. And then we're going to go ahead and align it. So you want to hold the wheel in place and then turn your gooseneck, hold the wheel in place, turn, and you just gotta kind of eyeball it, there. That looks about right. And then once you got it aligned, just go ahead and torque these bolts down. I think they call them pinch bolts, because they pinch the neck there. Okay, let's turn it this way to get it a little bit quicker tightening. And to really torque it down, use the other side. Gives you a little bit more leverage on this one. Right? And that feels good. Just turn it. Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the next step. Okay guys, so next we're gonna go ahead and tighten the handlebars. Obviously you can tell that they're loose. And for that, you have a little bit of an alignment marks here. So you can see those lines. You don't want it too far that way or too far this way. You want it right in the middle, like so. So you're gonna get on the bike and then try to see where you want the handlebars, and then you'll go ahead and align it, level it, align it there, and then tighten those 4 bolts. So let's go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and do that off camera. And so you would just go ahead and tighten these 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Okay guys, so we already went ahead and tightened down the handle, and we aligned it as best as we could. When you're tightening these down, guys, when you tighten one down, sometimes the other one loosens up. So just go back and forth and tighten them. Go all the way around. Make sure they're all tight so that you don't have your handlebars moving around when you're cruising around at 20 miles an hour. So right there, they're really tight. They're good. Let's go on to the next step. Okay guys, now we're gonna go ahead and secure the screen in place. So you're gonna bring it up to your desired height. Usually it would be about there, so you don't get too much glare from the sun. And then you're gonna go ahead and tighten those two bolts, this one and that one on the plastic, and they're silver, so those are the ones you're gonna tighten. Just go ahead and tighten those. and then tighten the other one as well. Okay. Okay guys, so that's basically it. The last part we did was just tighten this screen down. Looks like it's tightened well. The handlebars are tightened. The gooseneck here is tight. Everything's good. All you have to do now is just go ahead and inflate the tires with a pump, or if you have a 12-volt compressor in your vehicle, you can go ahead and air them up that way. Also, you have to go ahead and install the battery. Turn the battery on with the button on the top. You press it once, and then you go ahead and hold this mode button down until the screen turns on, and you're ready to ride. Alrighty guys. So go ahead and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment. Give this video a thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel. That would help me out a lot, guys, to bring more useful content to you guys. So that's it, guys. That's how you assemble an Aventon Pace 350. Alrighty. Comment, share, like, subscribe, and we will see you on the next video, guys.